Ambassador Zethkari had delivered ultimatums to 17 different species across his century-long diplomatic career. He had witnessed the collapse of empires, the birth of new civilizations, and the terrible beauty of stellar warfare that could reshape entire systems. But he had never seen anything quite like the human response to his declaration of war. The human representative, a middle-aged woman with graying hair and laugh lines around her eyes, simply smiled. Not the predatory grin he had expected from a species about to face annihilation, nor the desperate rictus of terror he had seen so many times before. It was quiet, almost gentle, the kind of smile one might share with an old friend over morning tea. Ambassador Chen, Zethkari's translator caller rendered his words in the human's native tongue. Perhaps you did not understand. The Hegemony Council has voted. Your species' 3,000-year isolation is over. You will submit to incorporation or face total extinction. These are your only options. Ambassador Chen folded her hands in her lap, her smile never wavering. I understood perfectly, Ambassador Zethkari. We appreciate you taking the time to deliver the message personally. The Krillian's 6 eyes narrowed in confusion. Behind him, the assembled representatives of 43 species watched the exchange with varying degrees of anticipation and bloodthirst. The humans had been a curiosity for millennia, a species that had achieved faster-than-light travel, but chose to remain within their single star system, politely declining all contact beyond basic diplomatic acknowledgments. You appreciate it? Zethkari's mandibles clicked in agitation. Your world's military installations have already been catalogued. Your population centers mapped. Your pathetic defense fleet numbers fewer than 1,000 ships against our combined armada of 2 million. Do you truly not comprehend the futility of resistance? Chen nodded thoughtfully. Oh, we comprehend it perfectly. Would you like some tea, Ambassador? It's a wonderful earth blend, chamomile and lavender. Very soothing. The offer hung in the air like a challenge wrapped in silk. Several council members began murmuring among themselves. The Vorthak representative's tendrils writhed with barely contained aggression. This was not how conquered species were supposed to behave. Tea? Zethkari's voice rose an octave. Your species faces extinction and you offer tea? Well, yes, Chen replied as if it were the most natural thing in the galaxy. You see, Ambassador, we've spent 3,000 years learning a very important lesson. Would you like to hear it? Speak quickly, Zethkari growled, though something in the human's demeanor had begun to unsettle him. Before our patience ends entirely, Chen's smile deepened slightly. We learned that the universe is quite large and filled with many impressive civilizations. We also learned that being impressive isn't the same as being wise. She paused, tilting her head slightly. For instance, did you know that humans haven't actually been confined to one star system for quite some time? The council chamber fell silent. Zethkari felt a cold dread beginning to crystallize in his chest cavity. What do you mean? Oh, we've been exploring for about 2,000 years now. Quietly, of course. We're not particularly fond of making grand announcements or claiming territory. We prefer to observe, learn, understand. Chen's eyes sparkled with something that wasn't quite amusement. Did you know that the Hegemony's war fleet is currently surrounded by approximately 10,000 human vessels that your sensors simply cannot detect? The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates began shouting in 17 different languages while their translators struggled to keep up. Zethkari's own blood felt like ice water. Impossible. Your sensors are quite good, Chen acknowledged. But they're designed to detect ships built like yours, with materials like yours, broadcasting signatures like yours. We took a different approach. She gestured mildly toward the viewport where the vast Hegemony fleet hung in perfect formation. Our ships don't look like ships, Ambassador. They look like space dust, asteroids, background radiation. Sometimes they look like nothing at all. You're bluffing, the Vorthak delegate hissed. No species developed such technology without decades of warfare to drive innovation. Chen's smile never wavered. Oh, but that's where you're wrong. We developed it precisely because we wanted to avoid warfare. We've spent 3,000 years perfecting the art of being overlooked, of being underestimated, of being dismissed as harmless. She leaned forward slightly. Do you have any idea how much you can accomplish when no one considers you a threat? Zethkari's communicator began chirping frantically. Reports flooded in from fleet commanders across the armada, massive objects decloaking, energy signatures appearing from nowhere, their perfect battle formation suddenly revealed as a trap within a trap. "How many?" he whispered. "Ships? Oh, several million, I believe. But that's not really the interesting number." Chen stood gracefully, smoothing down her simple gray diplomatic dress. "The interesting number is 700,000. 700,000 what?" "Years, Ambassador. That's how long we estimate it would take your various civilizations to recover from what we could do to them right now. You see, we didn't just learn to hide. We learned everything else too. Medicine, engineering, physics, agriculture, art, philosophy." Her quiet smile held depths that seemed to go on forever. "We know where every one of your worlds is. We know your biology, your culture, your history. We know which of your crops are susceptible to engineered blights and which of your suns could be induced to flare, with just the right gravitational nudge." The chamber had fallen completely silent now. Even the translator collars seemed to have stopped working, as if language itself had abandoned them. "But here's what we learned most of all," Chen continued, her voice still gentle, still patient. "We learned that the universe is far too beautiful to fill with more violence than absolutely necessary. We learned that every species, no matter how aggressive, how territorial, how convinced of their own superiority, is still someone's children, still capable of wonder, still worth preserving." She walked to the viewport and gazed out at the two fleets facing each other across the void. "So here's what's going to happen, Ambassador Zethkari. Your ships are going to turn around and go home. You're going to tell your various governments that humanity extends its friendship, as it always has, and in return we're going to pretend that this entire unfortunate misunderstanding never happened. And if we refuse?" Zethkari managed to croak. Chen turned back to him, and for just a moment her smile held something terrible and infinite. "Then you'll discover why a species that could conquer the galaxy chooses instead to tend gardens and write poetry." The terrible moment passed, replaced by gentle warmth. "But you won't refuse, will you, Ambassador? Because deep down you're all still someone's children too." As the hegemony fleet began its long journey home, Ambassador Chen finally poured herself that cup of tea. Outside the viewport, invisible guardians kept their patient watch as they had for 3,000 years. The universe remained beautiful, and humanity smiled quietly in the dark.